dishwasher?
Yeah.
I fixed my washing machine recently by booting it quite hard.
Started so well.
It wasn't working. It wasn't locking. I went smack and it locked and it started working.
Great.
Baby, I fixed it. So
Half a point. My name is Gordon Smart. It's the Thursday night evening show, and I'm so excited because we have returning guests. Cast your mind back 3 years ago, the first interview. I just kept it Scottish in the Scotch corner. And there are three gentlemen who have returned to see me. It's fantastic to see you, Ben and Jimmy Johnston and Simon Neil. All right, boys.
Hey, Gordon, how we doing?
It's great to see you.
If in doubt, interview the Scots, man.
Yeah,
we'll
that's
keep you right. We'll keep you right.
Just feels like home.
Exactly.
Private jet, helicopter, then you were carried in on horse-drawn carriage. There's somebody throwing roses in front of you.
It's a tough one. The red carpet's currently being laid out for our exont.
It is album number 8, which I saw referred to as Opus 8.
Yeah.
Opus 8.
But I missed a trick there. I should have called it Octopus.
Oh!
Someone tweeted that online. I was like, oh my God. It was staring at me the whole time. But yeah, Opus 8, we are here to celebrate the start of our next record. 8 albums. Can't quite believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, you were talking about your son earlier growing quicker than you could possibly imagine, and it kind of we feel like that with this band in a different way, which is I can't believe that we're on our 8th album, that it's 4 years since we chatted last, or your first show, and 18 years since our first record. Time flies when you're having fun, and that is the thing. We are still having fun.
Good to hear it. And you look well as well, which is a relief. It's an arduous process recording an album, isn't
man. It can be. I think the more you do, the more you're aware of like what you're kind of wanting to achieve, and you're aware that the journey is a long journey. There's highs and lows, and you kind of, in their preparation, you get your defences up a bit more and you're prepared for it, but it still takes you by surprise. And we struggled in LA last year. It was so hard.
It looked like it on social media, didn't it?
Yeah, you got. I mean, it's like a 4 or 5 month process, which seems like an awful long time considering the album is like 45 minutes. Like what, 10 minutes a month? Well done, guys.
First world problems, boys.
I know, exactly, but it's just great to be back, man. We've missed chatting, we've missed playing, and we've got the real bit between our teeth again.
Exciting times. We're going to talk loads about music, but before we do, it did get me thinking about who was the most domestically savvy, like who's the best at the DIY in the band. So 5 little questions for you. Straight away.
We can take the questions, but there's
Jimmy
no
Johnson,
doubt
they're pointing in my direction.
Yes.
So Jimmy the Joiner over here.
James has tools. I mean, that's
James has a workshop, has tools. He makes things. He made his Christmas tree.
I made a Christmas
No way.
tree. I made a Christmas tree.
But me and Ben might be the most DIY. Let's do the questions.
Let's do the questions. Let's see. Let's see. Right, so I'm going to take you through this. Right, 5 questions. You'll answer them each in turn, and we'll see at the end of it if this is true, Jimmy Johnson.
Okay.
Right, domestic abilities. Has each band member have the ability to change a plug? So we'll start with you. Shall we go with Ben?
Yeah, I remember doing that in school.
Good.
I think a plug kind of comes with a wee diagram, a handy diagram inside.
Oh,
yes.
You can't really go wrong. So yeah, I can change.
That's good.
That's a man that knows his plug. I reckon I could with a little bit of help from YouTube.
Yes. That's your thing. Yes. So that's. I'm going to give you a point each for that.
Yes. We're power. So
Bleeding a radiator. Bleeding a radiator. It makes that noise, interestingly.
I think I know how to do it. Would I make a bit of a mess? Probably.
Yes.
I just think it's a yes.
I love bleeding a radiator.
Wow.
It's something like, see when your radiator's not working and it's a bit cold and then you just hear that. I love it.
Wow. I don't know Simon
I have bled the radiator, but you have to be sure to close the cap just before the water comes out. Because it's black and it's dirty and it's messy. But I think we've got another point each there, boys.
Yes.
So we're hot and we have lights.
We've got,
Yeah, great.
It just made me think of something. I read that you used to eat off a radiator while we're talking about radiators.
We did.
This is going to come back.
Oh, this is back when in the early days of touring, when we're staying in travel lodges without microwaves, and we'd buy pasties and heat them up on the radiator and eat it tepid.
It was horrific.
It was really bad.
Like
bad living.
A mildly heated underside of a sausage roll does not make the
doesn't get the juices flowing.
Yeah, and it's reinforcing the Scottish stereotype once again.
I know. As long as it's beige, I'll have it.
If it's yellow food, I'll have it.
The thing was, we actually tried to heat them up in storage heaters, so it literally took 4.5 hours to make it even anyway.
Having said, I've slept in a few travel lodges at 4 million degrees Kelvin. And they're quite hot, those radiators.
You can't cool them down though. It takes a year for it to go back to a normal temperature. But yeah.
So we're on full points, right, so far. Now this is a real challenge.
Okay.
Ben, can you hang wallpaper? It's the correct verb, isn't it?
Yeah,
Hang wallpaper.
I've never tried. I've only ever painted walls. I've never hung a piece of wallpaper. I can see it looks like a right pain in the arse.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
It's an art form. I can't lay claim to being any good at that whatsoever.
I'm afraid I'm dropping points here as well.
Jimbo!
Help us, Jim, you're our only hope.
I've never hung. I'm a bit over. My mother-in-law actually bought me a little pad for my Christmas, and it said, "Notes for your overambitious DIY project." So it's well known that I'm a little overambitious, but I do have a line, and it's wallpaper. That's where I draw the line.
What about you, Gordon?
It's currently not indexing on this quiz. I'm all right. I've had a stab at the old wallpaper and made such an arse of it.
It's
to get some
hard,
help.
man. It's
tricky.
You need to know exactly where the core of the earth is balanced. Because see, to get that stuff straight is impossible.
If it's patterned, forget it.
Oh, man.
Oh, yes. You sound like right now.
I know.
Right. Have you ever managed to fix an appliance without the help of YouTube?
Depends what kind of appliance it is, I guess.
I was thinking, I've got a friend who managed to fix his dishwasher.
That's quite.
And I thought, I hero worship the man.
Yeah, that is. Where'd you start with a dishwasher?
Yeah.
I fixed my washing machine recently by booting it quite hard.
Started so well.
It wasn't working. It wasn't locking. I went smack and it locked and it started working.
Great.
Baby, I fixed it. So,
Half a point. Half a point. It's like kicking a tyre of a car.
Glory, the cultured right foot. Did that just?
It was.
Simon Neil?
No, I probably couldn't. I couldn't fix it. I can definitely break things. I will break the appliances for the boys to fix.
I think this could be Jimmy's moment, couldn't it?
I managed to fix a turntable. I bought an old dance set, it's a beautiful old mahogany turntable. And I managed to make that make some noise. It's not a great noise, but it does make some noise. So can I get half a point?
I think you're both getting half a point for that. Simon Neil's
boys.
Slipped behind. Now this is a big one and an important point in any man or woman's life. Have you ever hired machinery and then used it successfully? HSS Hire Shop and other hire shops are available.
I love these questions.
Not personally. Not personally.
Okay.
When I used to work for my dad, we'd do that a lot, but not on my Todd. No.
Yes.
No, I can't lay claim to hiring anything.
Do you know what? I don't. I just go and buy the bits because I want all the gear.
He does.
I want to have all the gear.
All the gear, no idea.
So I bought like a pillar drill last week, and I did manage to successfully drill a hole. Not
That's
quite
a point.
hired. Is that a half?
That's a point. I think
That's
that's
a
a point.
double point.
That's
Yeah.
a double- okay.
Yeah.
You've invested
I mean,
your money.
I own a pillar drill. So,
Yes.
that's pretty good.
You're investing in your future.
I'm tempted to give you a quarter point for the action that you just gave us.
That's what he's like when he's saying he's pulling pints when he's talking to his missus on FaceTime. Oh, yeah.
I think the quiz has proven the fact that you are 4.5 points.
Oh,
I think I'm right. Oh no, I've been given producers proper information
we have
here.
to write this all down.
Ben 2.5.
No, I'll take it.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
Simon Neil 2. Bit of work to be done there. Jimmy Johnston, he is Mr. B&Q. 2020, 3.5 points.
Well done,
I'll
JRG.
take it.
Take it.
Should we talk about music?
Let's do
Yeah.
that.
Shall we talk about music? Right, the new tune is called Instant History. We're going to play it in a second. Would you mind sharing the story behind it? Because from what I gather, there's quite an emotional and a very important message behind this.
Yeah, I guess the whole album, I feel that we're in such a kind of unique time in our lives, and in history, that we're kind of like in this moment where the things that we should be able to take for granted, like compassion, empathy, community, are kind of being eroded and slowly chipped away. And the song Instant History for me is about accepting that things change, but also trying to just stand for what you believe in and not kind of succumb to just a wave of opinions, or whether to just go along like sheep with things. And I think it's just trying to find what I value in my life, and I'm not going to change who I am for that, regardless of reality changing. I want to fight for the things I've always believed in, and that I want our country and our world and humanity to kind of cherish. I mean, I know that sounds very grandiose, but I just feel like in 2020 we're still trying to settle in this century about what kind of species we're going to be. And I have so much hope when I see the next generation, and then there's certain parts of the older generation that I feel very cynical about. And then, so some days I feel really optimistic, and I think this song is an optimistic song, and it's the sentiment that the whole album is really about, which is about thinking about how we ended up where we are, and also how we can just make things better moving forward, and not just seeing darkness everywhere you look.
That's wonderful to hear, because I've been trying to say that in an articulate way for about 5 years to various people, and I've not managed it. And you've done it.
It's hard though, man. I mean,
it is.
We're all in this kind of like an existential kind of crisis that everyone's having a little bit at the moment. And the thing that I take solace in the fact that every century kind of takes about 10, 20 years to really get going in the right direction. You know, things have been pulled here, there and everywhere at the start of every century. And I think we've just needed to take some small steps, fall down, hit our faces, bust our head open, get stitches over the back of our head, lose sight in one eye, and now we can start healing.
Small price to pay.
I'm shedding a tear. Not just because of the violence, but the message is so important. And I think our ability to be offended is pretty high, and our tolerance levels are quite low.
Yeah.
And to sum that up in a song is a fantastic achievement, and I'm going to play it. I need to ask you about your live affirming moment as well. I've never done this with you guys before. What are the points at gigs that will live with you for the rest of your life? So a particular festival or a show or a band you've seen, I don't know, a particular song or a lyric or a moment that will live with you forever. And all feel free to run with that.
We were playing a festival in Norway, I believe, and I turned round and Dave Grohl was just crouched over there jamming out to our band. This is going back a while because we've since toured with the Foo Fighters, but this was a while ago, and I did a little thing in my pants, I think, probably. Oh my God.
A little EP.
No, sex wee. It was an incredible life affirming moment where I'm like, that's the drummer from Ravana and the singer from Foo Fighters watching our band, and he is digging it.
Yeah.
Always stay with me.
And how did you perform after that?
I think it was okay. I don't think I managed to not drop any sticks.
That's great.
But I think I held them a bit too tight for the rest of the gig, I reckon.
And cramp. Full body cramp after.
Exactly.
Pressure. Amazing.
I'm probably going to choose someone else's show. I'm going to choose a Mogwai gig that we saw a long time ago. It was at Tea in the Park in Scotland. I think we'd maybe just played like at midday or something. It was one of our very first festival appearances, and I didn't know what Mogwai looked like. I kind of still don't. But, you know, they played in dark, they had hoods up, and it was just this introduction to this band that I didn't know anything about. The people surrounding me were totally overwhelmed by it. The music really overwhelmed me, and it was just one of those moments where I completely forgot where I was. I forgot why I was there, and it was just me and the noise coming off stage, and you're never sure when those moments are going to happen, and we all wish that we could make them happen every time you go to a show, but that's just a moment where the power of music more than anything just overwhelmed me, and it was just further gave me conviction that this is all I ever want to do. So thank you, Mogwai, for that.
Absolutely brilliant.
Actually, not too long ago we did an acoustic tour. We did like an acoustic album, and we went to play a show at Amsterdam Paradiso, really beautiful venue, and Ben and I went off stage and Simon played Machines on his own, and for some reason I think it was quite an emotional time for us, and the song just hit me. You know, it's been in our lives for such a long time, and it just came back and hit me, and I'm weeping backstage like a little baby. My tour man just rubbing my back and trying to sort me out because I've got to go back on stage and smile, you know, and get on with it. And it was just a really beautiful moment to show that amongst everything else, it's still the music that touches you more than anything else. Obviously, celebrating and playing in front of an audience is great, but taking all that away, just the power of that song. I'm going to start crying.
Do you know
But just the power of that song was just, it just really smashed me.
It just goes to show, though, doesn't it, that you can rehearse and play together for 20 years, maybe 30.
Yeah.
And then that moment, that just catches you completely out of the blue.
That's the power of music and
Phenomenal.
beautiful music at that, you know.
Well, there were three beautiful stories.
Thank you.
I think I might have been at that Mogwai gig as well. Hunted by the Freaks, a song that I love.
Yeah.
There's something about that live, and I know exactly what you mean.
Just like a totally
But I just can't play the guitar. I can't do
all
that
you
for a
need
living.
a distortion pedal, Gordon. All you need is a
Exactly.
distortion pedal.
Oh man, you mentioned Foo Fighters there, Ben, right? And it's a massive year because they are celebrating the 25th anniversary of the band, which is Friday.
Yeah, they're going on a van tour or something. I just read the other day.
Post quarter century dark side, we call it. And you boys have had the beauty of being fans and watching them, and also touring and playing with them and getting to know one of the greatest men in the world, David Grohl. Can you just maybe share what it is like to be a part of that world? Because they are genuinely the loveliest human beings away from all this carry on, eh?
They're sounding in the best way to describe, and everyone kind of says this about Dave Grohl, but he makes you forget you're talking to Dave Grohl. He's just so disarming. So whenever you meet him, the first thing he wants to do is get you a drink, make sure you're comfortable, and it's only when you leave you're like, oh my God, you know, Dave, that was Dave Grohl, because he's just such a buddy. He's such a music lover as well. So he's a very sincere guy. You know, he's not full of he's not full of shit in any way at all. You always find him the same way, which when someone is such an icon as he is, that's quite you know, you can imagine there's some days where he just can't be bothered.
Yeah.
But he's just always got time for you. So it's kind of like you forget you're talking to Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
That's what's so weird. The first time we played with them in the States in like Tulsa or something, he just came straight on our tour bus like after the show and just sat and had a beer with us, and we were all like saying, you know, little puppy dogs going, Dave Grohl, you know, but after that first meeting, it was like, oh, there's Dave. How you doing, Dave? You know, and it's just a wonderful talent he has to make you feel, you know, like you don't feel overwhelmed because he does everything to disarm you. I'm sure you felt that when you've chatted.
Absolutely.
You know,
I interviewed his mum.
Right.
She wrote a brilliant book called From Cradle to Stage, which is about rock stars' mums.
Yeah,
and
okay,
it's
God
a
forbid.
wonderful book. And she was a school teacher, and it all makes sense when you realise she's such a wonderful woman, and the job she's done with David Grohl.
Dave.
And she calls him David, which is so for us. He's always David Grohl.
Yeah, of course, that's hilarious.
We've got to call him David Grohl. So here's the next question on Foo Fighters. If you get the call, they're going to be doing mad stuff this year. Look me in the eyes. Have they already had the call?
No, but
to go and do
I'm not
something?
getting back in a van. No. I mean, Dave might do it, but nobody said I was a nice guy, so
Yeah, no one said James. Arrogant, James.
I'm well known for being arrogant. Sorry, I'll let you finish. Are we going to play some shows? Is
Would
that
you
what
do
you're
some
looking
shows
at?
on the
When
show?
Dave and the
never rule
Foos
out.
call us, we're all, if we can do it, we'll always be there. You know, we've loved playing with them. We love playing in front of their fans, but more than anything, it feels that you're part of the family. So, of course, Dave, if you're to call us, we will be there. But at the moment, I guess we're doing our own thing.
Yeah.
We're doing our own thing.
Which we will be finding out in a second. Now, gentlemen, we need to have a serious conversation, very serious conversation, because there's one man in this room who can offer the other three of us some serious advice. In about 6 weeks' time, Simon Neil, I turn 40. In about, I think, 8 or 9 weeks' time, the Johnston brothers turn...
Don't do it,
40.
guys. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's a bad idea.
Give us some advice. I'm panicking. Or could you suggest a midlife crisis?
Yeah, I tell you what, it feels a lot more like a midlife crisis than I thought. It's weird. I felt my whole 39 years, I was like, I'm prepped for 40. You know, like you're there mentally. You're like, I'm already 40. I feel 40. About 3 weeks after I turned 40, I totally had a few days of like, oh my God, I remember my dad being 40 and me thinking he was so old. So like, there's a moment of reality just hits you, and then actually I remembered that I play rock and roll for a living, so it's fine. And we get to, we're all lucky enough we get.
Well, thanks
to
for
do
reminding me
fun
of that.
stuff.
Yeah, you're.
Yeah, but it's. I tell you what, it's not pretty, but you'll get used to it.
Yeah. Existential crisis, lads. How are you coping with it, Ben? You all right with the idea of 40?
Well, because me and James have always been a lot younger than our pals, like a full year younger. We've always felt like we're the age ahead.
Yeah.
So I feel, like Si just said, I feel 40 already, so I hope that stays there and I don't
We'll
get
see.
through
I
the same
think
sort of crisis.
I'm scared that that's about wishful thinking.
Is it?
I'm just worried that you're like Simon says, you think you're set up, you're ready. The day comes, and then you're like, okay.
Yes.
Here it is. But sadly, some people don't get to be that lucky to get to 40. I mean, that's a different
That's
way of
growing
looking
old
way
at
to
it.
look at it, yeah.
Growing old
It's
is a blessing, and just got to remember that sometimes.
Good advice.
Well, but do you have any plans for you get?
I'm looking for a midlife crisis right now. I've got a few options.
Have you got a motorcycle license?
My wife said she would leave me if I got the bike, so that's ruled out.
Well,
Well, I tell you what, that's so funny because that's the first thing I did after my 40. I went and got bike lessons.
That's what to do.
Oh my God, we're all doing the same. That is a midlife
I was
crisis.
going to ask you, has there been any signs of a midlife in him?
No, I mean, I think he's turned a corner in a way, and I guess a lot of the albums about that, about a different type of outlook, and I can, without, and this isn't really funny,
Turns out it is.
but I can see a different outlook from Simon, and I'm really proud to see that. It's really nice to see that we've all still got chances to grow and to change, like the record's about. And
In a few months, when you guys are wise like me,
yeah, exactly.
you'll see things differently. No, there is a nice. It's nice of James to say that, but there is like a security that I want to be sure of myself at 40 years old, and it's kind of made me feel. That's what some of the songs are about and things. It's made me feel like, no, I'm right for feeling this way or whatever, and I feel like your 20s are such a searching. In fact, you're not even searching in your 20s. You're just moving about.
Yeah, speedboat without a driver.
Yeah, exactly. And then in your 30s, you're trying to find a destination, but you're still moving around. And I feel like certainly, now I'm 40. That you just arrive at a kind of destination of hopefully being happy who you are, and that's I feel an element of that settling down inside me. But So you were an 80s baby then?
1980,
The
yeah.
70s were crazy. Honestly, man, those 4 months, my God.
I was going to say the new Biffy Clyro album is going to be like a self-help album for me.
Yeah, exactly.
This is really important to see me through.
I hope it helps.
I've been thinking about this loads of you guys as well, because you can't really do tattoos. You've already taken care of that. You know, there's been bleach blonde beard, bleach blonde hair, dressing like a Star Wars emperor.
Yeah, you name a mistake,
Dressing like
I've made it.
Jesus. There's not much left.
No, I did rock last summer I was rocking a shaved head and a mustache, which
Yes.
I've always wanted to do. My wife has never wanted me to do.
Yes.
So that's why I got rid of it. But there was that I really wanted to live a tash. I remember my dad at 40 and whenever it was, and he rocked a tash, and I always thought when I get to that age I got to get a tash, but I didn't get the mullet that he had.
Should have done both. That's the only works, I think, really. Isn't it?
I can already feel the email to you saying, right lads, I'm going to start the Ayrshire branch of the Hells Angels. Yeah, exactly. The first 4 members. Let's go.
Take it, man, take
The
it.
album tour's done. Let's go. Can you tell me, gentlemen, if you're going to be appearing on the Glastonbury stage?
Oh,
Sorry,
that would be telling.
Can I have a coffee?
That's a yes.
We'll be doing a couple of shows this summer. We're not sure exactly what yet, Gordon, but it's kind of early days. We're just going to get our summer lined up. We're going to be touring later in the year for certain, and then we're just getting a few bits and bobs this summer, so we can't say too much.
Simon Neil's making that Boris Johnston gesture.
Yeah. The amazing thing is,
The last question is, right, you know Michael Levis, if you could twist his magical beard and get him to book anybody for that lineup for the 50th, who would you have individually, each of you? I'm asking. Ben, you go first. Anybody.
Choose someone else first, please.
I'll go first. I'd like to see Guns N' Roses there.
Yeah.
To be honest, we played a couple of shows with them the last couple of years. I think they're back at their best, maybe even as good as they've been ever. I mean, it's so exciting. They're just icons, legends. To see them in real life, it really is like watching superheroes. And I think to have that mix at Glastonbury would be quite a nice juxtaposition.
It's a great idea, you know.
Really cool.
I hadn't considered that, but that's...
It's a bit out there.
Yeah.
But you know, that's how things move forward, you know.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to say two. One will be a similar vibe to James. I would have ACDC. Oh yeah. They just need to start with Highway to Hell and close with Back in Black, and then that would just be the best gig of all
Just
time.
do 2 songs.
2 songs, yeah. They basically just do 2 songs anyway. No disrespect, Angus. I love your stuff. And then another pair. I think I would love to see Nick Cave headline.
Yeah.
You know, Glastonbury. I think he's just hit another level of glory, and you know, I think the music he's making now is wonderful. I think he now is a bit of a national treasure, even though he's not a British fella. But I just think he would have he would create a wonderful moment for Glastonbury. You know, I'm sure Taylor Swift will too.
Yes.
But Nick
Different.
Cave would be a slightly different vibe.
Yes.
You know, so yeah.
What you got, Benny?
Never got to see Ravana. That was a real shame, and I would love to have them. As
Yeah.
the Glastonbury headliners. But yeah,
You know that Kurt isn't.
is he not right?
That'll be hard.
Difficult to make that
Can you imagine? No, I think of alive and dead bands. You know,
Yeah.
you're right.
The thing is, I think Fleetwood Mac chat was sorry to
No, Diamond.
Fleetwood Mac chat was ideal. They're a perfect Glastonbury band, but when you hear that money chat, it makes me mad.
Oh no, yeah.
See, if they just did the show, they would realise what it is and what it means to people, and how, you know, they'll be held aloft as heroes.
And that's why Biffy Clyro only do gigs at 50% of the normal card rate.
Exactly. We are half the price of Fleetwood Mac. Book us now. If it'll be more, it will be less than half the price of Fleetwood Mac.
Radio X.